From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up!
warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant,
presented by
Vitamin Energy.
The vitamins.
The energy.
Now here's warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark. Wake up! It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. Coming up on today's show, we are running out of ways to talk about this football team, but Corey's going to throw another log onto the what if they win out train. It wasn't competitive against Clemson, or was it? And are we all actively now rooting for LSU? We explain. Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. VitaminEnergy.com. Shake it, take it. But save $1 or $2 or like 12, because when you buy one, you get one free. That's right. You don't have to pay for the full price for 2 boxes when you use the promo code warchantbogo at vitaminenergy.com. Buy one, get one free. 7 hours of energy, body-nourishing vitamins, improve your mood, improve your focus. We could probably use both of those as we try to finish out the string here this season with 3 more football games, but we're glad that you're all here. Check out vitaminenergy.com, warchantbogo, the promo code. warchant.com, ultimate Seminole sports source. Maybe a slogan or a motto to some, maybe a platitude. But man, it's a credo. It is a guiding beacon of language that makes us the best out there. I just want to give it up for my co-host, maybe the host of this program, Corey Clark, and especially Big Dog Ira Schofel. Those two gentlemen, especially Ira. Ira got in a vehicle Saturday morning from Tallahassee, Florida, drove up to Atlanta, met up with our guy, Corey Clark. Then they went up to Clemson, watched that nonsense, drove back down, caught a breather on Sunday, made it back to Tallahassee in time for coordinator interviews. I mean, I don't know how many other people were at the Clemson game and made it back in time to be at coordinator interviews, but I know that Ira and Corey did it because they care, and that's why warchant.com
I know the
is the
answer to
best.
that. I know the answer to that. It's 0, except for Ira and I. There were other people that were up there. None of them were none of them were at coordinator interviews on Sunday night, buddy. So that's what you're getting. That's what you're paying for, right, Aslan? That's why people pay us the big bucks. That's why Warchant's the best around.
That's didn't want to throw any further shade, but Corey did it, so I'm off the hook for once, everybody. Let's get to it then, Corey. Florida State falls to 4-5 on the season, now 1-5 in the ACC. After losing 24-10 against the Clemson team that you put in your column as maybe the worst Clemson team in 20 years. The Wake Forest game was not a harbinger of things to come. I don't know if it felt like anything different this time around to you, but ultimately a loss, and a loss that was maybe a little bit competitive at times, but it wasn't the one possession, one play, one referee screw job that maybe some of these other games were. So how do we kind of factor that all into things?
I don't know. I don't know.
By the way, Dabo's kid was not in. Dabo's kid was not in on that 2-point conversion.
Yeah, man. By the way, you were watching the game. I wasn't. Did they go to the control room? I
don't think so. I don't remember them doing that. No.
What's going on? But don't they? Isn't that what ACC replay officials do? They went and during the timeout, the referee was looking into the camera on the sideline, and then made an announcement of some sort, or never even made an announcement. But he was looking until they kicked until the kickoff during the commercial break. He was looking into the headset, or not the headset. He was looking into the
monitors.
camera.
Looking at the monitors.
But they didn't. Sorry. He probably was looking straight dead into the camera, saying, "I got you, Dabo." But this 2 times now, where they didn't show the control room at all for the Stanford game, and then that play, I don't think he was in at all, and they never even made I don't know what they did on the broadcast, but if they even showed it again. But I'm like, man, I don't think he got in.
It was a commercial.
And whatever. And that's why they lost the game. We all know. Florida State just can't catch a break. If you stop Dabo's kid right there, all the good vibes are done. They're like, why is this head coach putting his kid in a play like this? You just cost us a point, and the crowd turns on Dabo. But no, they gave him the feel-good 2-point conversion. Yeah, look, you said it wasn't. It was not a 1-score game, but it wasn't. Again, it wasn't non-competitive. Florida State was in that game. they did the same stuff they do in these games. They make critical, dumb mistakes, or just bad mistakes at critical times, at horrible times. And there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's not like it's the same thing keeps happening. In Stanford, I don't remember them dropping any passes, not any big ones anyway. Randy Pittman's been good all year when he's been healthy. I mean, gosh darn, how do you explain that? How do you explain LaWayne McCoy getting the wrong signal and thinking he's supposed to be blocking the DB and taking away what would have been a 25-yard pass or whatever it would have been to Pittman, or probably not that. You'd have been inside the 5-yard line, 1st and goal. Instead, you have a receiver pushing a guy off the field on a pass play because he was running the wrong play. That's not something that I don't think's happened a ton either. Or hands to the face on 3rd and 1 on a 15-yard run. Like just the fumble inside the 10. The overthrow of Squirrel White. And Gus is right. Like, I know when Tommy's going to overthrow someone, it's going to be Squirrel White. He just hates that kid, apparently. But they've been pretty good on deep passes this year. They've been good throwing the ball downfield. That's just a huge miss, a horrible miss at a bad time. And it's just more of the same. Again, not an embarrassing performance. They aren't getting blown off the field. But at the end of it, you have another loss to not a good Clemson team, as Malzahn pointed out Sunday night. Talented Clemson team, but not a good Clemson team. And you lost. And we're never within 2 scores after the first quarter and a half. But again, you're right. You outgained them. You had more yards. You had more first downs like you did against Stanford. It just doesn't matter because situationally you are like illiterate. Situationally, they play the big situations really, really poorly, and here that's why you're 4-5. It's not a horrible football team, man. You don't think that, do you? I know the record is the record, but this is not a horrible football team. It's a football team that should be 6-3 by my calculation, maybe 7-2, but for whatever reason, maybe you can call coaching, confidence from that coaching, boneheaded plays, bad calls, horrible turnovers, drops, on and on and on. You're 4-5, and you haven't won on the road in 2 years.
Well, that's what makes this so maddening because
yeah,
I get why he's still the coach here, and I think they should part ways pretty much as soon as possible. But I understand they're going to probably wait until the end of the season to make that decision. But you do watch them, and listen, I know that's not a good Clemson team, so you're like, well, they're losing by 2 scores now against teams that are not that good, but it's still that stadium, and I know they haven't had great success against Power 4 teams ever since that. But again, there's no way that Clemson felt really good about the outcome of that game until it really was kind of, until that last interception by Tommy, because they kind of ran just 3 straight plays just to get the clock running, and didn't really seem to mind that 5 minutes wasn't going to be enough for Florida State to get 2 more scores. But yeah, I mean, this isn't a redo of 2024. So yes, man, I get, again, like they are better. They are scheming things wide open. Nothing was schemed as open as Randy Pittman was on Saturday night last year at all. Nothing came close. Nothing came close to the play they ran in overtime against Virginia, where Gavin Sawchuk would have been wide open, walking. There are things on there, and I asked Gus about it on Sunday. And I don't know if maybe we mixed our signals up there, but it just, you put the film on. If you're a Florida State football player, like, man, like, golly, like I get this whole no one's beat us, we've beat ourselves, but I mean, it's got to stop, and this guy is not going to be the one that's going to ultimately be here when it finds its way of stopping and corrects course. I can't imagine.
Probably not.
Don't know.
Yeah, and it's, again, it's not a loss to Clemson, that's not a fireable loss. It's not an indefensible loss. It keeps, for me, going back to Stanford and really some of the Pitt game too. But what is frustrating about it, to me personally, because I know I do like Tony White. I've said a million times I like Norvell. I do think this team, I think that defense is getting better. I mean, they held Clemson to 2 touchdowns, and one was a jump ball on a flea flicker when they got the ball at your 39. So I think the defense is getting better. I think this offense, if it doesn't take a 6-shooter out and continually shoot itself in not even in the foot, in the abdomen, like a foot you can survive. They're shooting themselves right in the heart. It's that they are good enough to win these games, and I don't think they're necessarily poorly coached. And I don't think they quit. I think they play hard. It's unlucky, and for most part, it's unlucky, ill-advised plays, bad quarterback play, bad recruiting that led to bad quarterback play. There's a million layers to it. And sadly, even if they go and win their next 3 games, which again, you saw.
Nobody wants to hear it, Corey. Nobody wants to hear that it's possible. Nobody wants to hear it. Nobody wants to hear it.
Yeah. So you finish 7-5, and you look at these games, and like I was telling Ira, on the PFF grades for the college football teams this year, they rank the teams overall. Indiana's 1, Ohio State 2, Florida State is 14th in the country, according to PFF's metrics. They're like top 25 in these other metrics. Last year, again, to just give you some perspective, last year they were in the 90s. So this isn't like some flaw in the system. I mean, it is. I mean, you can't be 4-5 and ranked ahead of Georgia. Like, they have Florida State ranked as a better team than Georgia by the efficiency numbers and the metrics, which, get some new formulas if that's the case. But still, they're not a bad football team. They're not embarrassingly bad like they were last year. They just they can't get out of their own way, and at some point, you can't keep dealing with it. And what I saw on Saturday night from the defense makes me pretty confident that they'll beat Virginia Tech, and it gives me hope that they'll beat NC State, because I think that defense played well on the road for once. I know people might be shouting at me, but understand going into every game, they're going to give up a 36-play, 9.5-minute touchdown drive to start the game. That's just what they do. That's their briar patch. They like doing it. Get off their backs. It's what they do. They want to fill the other team with a sense of false confidence. But after that first drive, I thought they played really well, man. What did it matter? Just like I thought the offense played really well at Virginia. What did it matter? They don't play this team. They don't play complimentary football. They play insulting football. Like, if the defense plays well, the offense says, "Screw you, we're going to suck." If the offense plays well, the defense is like, "Screw you, we're going to suck." Like, they can't play well together except for the weight game, and they haven't done it all year on the road. And so it's all really frustrating, because I think there was a path to this being a really fun, maybe even a playoff type team, not a championship team, but they could. I mean, look at the ACC gang. Like, any of these teams scare you? But here we are, and they're 4-5, and they probably will be looking for a new coach in a few weeks.
What do we think about that? I mean, I get the lack of complimentary football. Does that go back to, again, like I think they probably have enough talent to have been able to win 9 or 10 games and maybe sneak into the playoff, but maybe they don't have that depth. How much of it is, I don't know how much. I don't think I'm not saying there's discord or disharmony, but like, how much of it is just not being connected? We always used to hear that word from Leonard when he would talk about his team, but like, I don't know, like, Gus is his own thing, man. Gus is his own island, I imagine, man. There's not a lot of, hey, like, this is what we want to do this week. It's like, man, we're waiting for marching orders from Gus. And I don't know how that would manifest itself, but like, maybe there's something there with this coaching staff being so kind of fragmented, where Mike's just kind of floating in the ether. Tony's handling the defense. Gus is handling the offense. I know that's the way it works at a lot of schools. That these coordinators are autonomous and handling everything else, and you're kind of delegating and hovering over. But there's some lack of like cohesion coming from Mike to get everybody on the same page. Other than like the Wake Forest game, the Wake Forest game, they were both on the both they played complimentary football.
But why are they
night.
so bad on the road? Why are they so bad on the road, Aslan? It makes no sense. It just doesn't make sense. I think they beat Virginia at home. I think they beat Stanford by 5 touchdowns if they played at Doak. But why if you're playing on the road is it all of a sudden that? I think if they played this Clemson, I don't know. They never beat Clemson at home, so I don't know if that's true. But that's what bothers me when it comes to this coach. Honestly, this head coach is like they just never play. And I said it on the Warchant wrap. They don't ever, to me, play with any conviction or belief that they're going to win these games.
Yep.
They aren't headstrong. If something poor, and that's why it's so bothersome what the defense has done the last 2 games on the road. They immediately let the other team go down and get a lead. Mike's got to quit deferring, man. If you win the toss, take the ball.
Yep.
That way, they did. They had the ball first against Stanford, right? Because they got to delay a game before the first play. That's poor coaching. That's not.
Never
that's
seen
not
that
anything
before.
Coaching. Nope. That's a first. That was a first for Malzahn, which was good to hear. So I don't know why it looks like that. I don't know. Again, we can speculate. They're too tense. They're not good enough. I think both of those are probably true. The end result is the end result. Like at Florida State, you can't be 5-16 in your last 21 games. Or what is it? Are they 6-15? Yeah, 6-15 in their last 21 games. 4-16 in their last 20 games against real teams. It's just at some point you got to say enough is enough. Now, you have a chance. I know people don't want to hear it. A win over Virginia Tech is an ACC win, by God. And then a win at NC State is an ACC win. I'm not expecting it. Why would you? It's a road game. But there's a chance that happens. There's also a chance you go and beat a Florida team that looked outrageously bad on Saturday.
Why are you doing this, Corey? Why are we talking about them winning out still?
Because I think that otherwise it would make no sense to even play the string out. You know what I mean? Just be done with it. But again,
what do these three wins against two teams that are sub 500 do, though?
Yeah, I mean, I just think if you look at the totality of the season and how much better they are than last year, wins or no wins, you can see some improvement. Look, man, and nobody here was expecting 10-2. Yeah. Nobody was expecting 10-2, and they are not an atrocious football team. They just have a bad record. I don't even think they're a mediocre football team. I think they're a decent football team that has a bad record.
One of my friends was saying on the broadcast, but by the way, real quick, on the broadcast was saying that they rank about number 6 in offense in ACC play. So, I know we don't know how they stack up.
15?
What's that?
It's 6 out of 15, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so above average, not horrible, right? And I think that you'd probably say the same about the defense. Not horrible. Not 1-5 bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not 1-5 bad. So the point being, I think I don't know if it's tenable. It's probably not tenable anymore. Like, you had a chance. If you go and beat even a bad Clemson team, you have a chance to be like salvaging something. I don't know that at this point, even a 3-game winning streak, 4 out of your last 5, I don't know if it salvages anything. It gives you a chance to go 8-5. That's fine. My bigger problem, my bigger concern isn't that, because I do think they could do that. I think they're very. I would say it's 50-50. Quite honestly, as bad as Florida looked, I legitimately think it's. And they can't play bad on the road every game. Just the law of averages. They're going to play a good game on the road. I think they could beat NC State. I think they're going to beat Virginia Tech, and I definitely think they could beat Florida. But to what end? And the reason I say that is because, is Gus coming back? Is Tommy coming back? What are you doing with this offensive line? What are you? So I compared this season. I was thinking about it when Gus was talking. It reminds me a lot of the 2021 season. I know I brought this up last week. Not 2022, 2021, where that team started off horribly, had that horrible start, and then actually played pretty well. Ended up not beating Florida when they had a chance to go to a bowl, because why would they win a game when there were some expectations? And it was a road game, so it was a double whammy. Florida had an interim coach, by the way. It was playing for nothing, but they still kept you from going to a bowl. That was a bad sign. Anyway, you felt a little better about where you were there because of the quarterback, right? You're like, at least I did. I know there were a lot of people that still weren't sold on Jordan Travis, but I was after that Florida game.
Yeah, I was.
I'm like, man, that guy's the real deal. Like, he's a real player. And getting him back for 2 more years is huge for this program, because he's just getting better and better. This team got much better as the season went on. Adam Fuller finally figured out his secondary, and the defense got worlds better as the season went on. There is something to build on here. I don't know what there is to build on with this particular team, because I don't trust that that Tommy is back. I don't trust that Deuce is back. I know the offensive line isn't back. So it's like, what do you even build upon? You can miracle yourself with some, I don't know, you can smoke and mirror yourself to 7 wins. It wouldn't be smoke and mirrors. That's not right. But you could get yourself to 7-5. Much like that 2021 team did fight and played well down the second half of the season to get to 5-6 and have a chance for that bowl win. But unlike that team, there's nothing coming back that gets you excited about the progression of the program. It's going to be more of the same next year where you have to go portal for a whole bunch of linemen. You have to go portal probably for another quarterback because this guy ain't it. Certainly, he's not it. He's not horrible. Tommy's got some strengths, but he's not. It's not getting it done. It's just not getting it done. It's not good enough for this place. And so, do you go and have to get a whole new coordinator? Does Tony White leaving to go somewhere else, and you got to start it all over? Like, I just think that's what doesn't. It was a young staff in 2021, not a young staff, but new staff. Bringing in their own players, getting a little momentum, knocking off North Carolina, beating Miami, having some real fun, positive moments in that game. And when Jordan Travis played, they won. To this one where it's like, man, all the best parts about this team, you don't even know if they're coming back. Like Deuce is awesome, by the way. He's probably gone. Don't I have any idea what Danzy's going to do? Don't know what the running back situation is. Don't know if Gus is going to be coaching at Arkansas or retiring or here next year. Don't know if Tony White will be at UCLA or somewhere else or here next year. So that's why it's like I don't know what 7-5 when you have to go get a whole new offense. What that does for you, you know what I mean? Like it's different to me than 2021. So that's what I say. To what end? Even if he gets to 7 wins, it's not like you're building upon something that you feel good about.
What I feel good about is when I step inside Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, I know a smile's going to come across my face because I'm probably going to see Corey Clark there. Maybe I'll see Tom Lang there.
You would have seen Stephanie Clark there watching the Clemson game for her birthday, big birthday bash to watch. Watch the Noles score 1 touchdown. But that's not Corner Pocket's fault.
No, it's not. Not Cummins' fault either. They tried. We were 1-0 on the wrap with Cummins, but Corner Pocket.
It was a tough loss.
They'll always be there for you. 2475 Appalachia Parkway, the place to watch a game if you're not going to be in Doak or on the road watching your Noles. Meet and greet. Last one of the season, everybody. Last one of the year. Corner Pocket. Come on out Friday, 5 p.m. Shake some hands. I don't know if there'll be any babies there to kiss, but maybe there'll be some vitamin energy to put your lips to, so that's close enough. Don't worry about your lunch. Don't worry about your dinner plans. Grab something to eat at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. The wings, the burgers, the entrees, the apps. Little dishes, big dishes, whatever your heart desires. It's going to taste really good. Corner Pocket knows how it's done. Come check it out. 2475 Appalachia Parkway, cptallybar.com, the website.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Why would you wander around a warehouse store looking for paint when you could just swing by your neighborhood Ace? In addition to Ace's award-winning service, we have top-rated paint brands. Plus, our color matching technology allows us to match any color. So stop wandering and start painting. Head to your neighborhood Ace today.
In Crawfordville, your home convenience store is Ace Home Center and Napa Auto Parts, located at 2709 Crawfordville Highway. We're back. It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com, warchantbogo, your promo code. Let's get back, Corey, to talking about this playing not well on the road thing. Again, it's a tough thing to really contextualize, but watching the broadcast feed, man, Mike right now, Mike was smiling and having fun against Wake Forest, and why not? It was a long time, several weeks of taking it on the chin, and they finally came back and reset and got a win. But man, on Saturday in Clemson, anytime they got called for a penalty, he is campaigning and politicking and pleading his case that it shouldn't be a flag. Every time he thinks they should have got a flag, he's chasing down refs. He mentioned it earlier, this calendar year when we talked about, he looked at himself last year and his body language, and he thought his body language sucked, is what he said, quote. Gus is another guy that's really amped up and really wound tight and really irritable on the sideline. Like when you look over and you see those guys being that way in those arenas and those environments on the road, like you need to be this calming kind of presence. And that's what I was trying to ask Gus about on Sunday, just like, in between possessions, like, are they able to get these guys to calm down and lock in? Because it's really easy at home, man. When the crowd's going to participate in what they need to do, they're going to get loud on defense. They're going to be quiet and let you operate. You make a big play. That I don't know if it's the way ESPN Mike's Doak Campbell Stadium, but man, pound for pound, Florida State fans go nuts when anything positive happens to their team, more so than any other team I'm watching on TV in this day and age. It's crazy. Like they're on their edge. They want to help this team win games. I just think there is this level of tightness, I think, around the team, and they probably can't escape the fact that they realize that every single game, every single loss, compounds what their situation is. I mean, is there anything else that you've seen or you want to attribute to maybe the fact that they
I don't know if it's whether or not they play tight on the road or just play tight, period, or just don't play well on the road. That's my only kind of hypothesis.
I don't know, man. Like I think again, it's the horse that I'm gonna keep beating. At the end of the day, what team just takes Cignetti just stands there. He doesn't get riled up that I can tell. He stands there. He's calm. He's on the headset. He's not rallying and walking up and down. And I'm not saying this is good or bad. I'm saying his team plays ferocious. That defense flies around. Their coach stands there like a statue. So I just don't know the connection between. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying I don't know what the connection would be between a head coach that's all over the place, a mile a minute, like Dabo too. Now Dabo's the same as Norvell, and his team won, and he was complaining about McCoy's touchdown, and he was complaining about the hit out of bounds. It wasn't out of bounds that he thought Rawls should have been penalized for. Like, he's a maniac on the sidelines, and his team handles it. And not this year maybe, but he's won some games, I think, up there in the past, and he's always been kind of a nut job. So I
just think
when I was driving,
I think the scouting report kind of is what, I think what Pitt did. Like what Pitt did, Stanford tried to replicate, and I think Clemson finally figured it out, where it is that first drive is everything. Take 8-9 minutes off the clock. Make Florida State's offense have to sit on the sideline. I think they get antsy as hell. Then they feel really sort of, I don't know, like they compel, like they have to score on this drive. I feel they play so tight. And I think in between possessions, man, I don't think there's a lot of calming, soothing voices keeping these guys kind of locked in and calm, especially on the road. Because again, man, Mike is kind of floating along, and Gus is not a very relaxed guy either. And listen, I get it. I mean, Dabo's crazy. Kirby's crazy too, man. But like Kirby's crazy when they're on defense, and that's who he is. And that's how he's always been. Like, for as much as Mike is this consistent sort of presence, he is what he is. He's always yelling and telling everybody good morning. Well, he's not that. He's not like down the sideline, man. He is not the same person every single night, every single play, every single quarter, and that's got to affect you, man.
Maybe. I'm not disputing it. I go back to his roster's not good enough, and he hasn't recruited well enough. He could be the best sideline presence in the world. It wouldn't matter when he doesn't have enough good players. I mean, case in point. So we talked to Gus on Sunday about the McCoy back-to-back plays, which was first he was running the wrong play on the pass to Pittman in the fourth quarter where the ball gets inside the 5, and it's an obvious OPI because one of your receivers is pushing a DB out of the way when the ball's in the air. It's just before the ball's even in the air. It's just a straight-up OPI. Well, he thought it was a run or a screen pass and is blocking. And then the next play is he gets a personal foul, and Gus is like, well, look, we're really thin at receiver, so he's actually playing two positions right now. He's having to play two positions right now because we're so thin at receiver. And I want to be like, well, are you really? Because I feel like you got about 9 scholarship guys at receiver. None of them can play. Cam Fryer can't play. B.J. Gibson was so bad he went and got another sport. The two freshmen, the other two freshmen, Jordan Scott, where is he? Is he hurt?
Elijah Moore.
Like all these, you brought in 4 guys this year to play receiver.
Did you say Jordan Scott?
None of them get on the field.
Did you say Jordan Scott?
Isn't that his name?
No,
what's his name?
I think he was a 6'8" guy, I think, that went to Maryland or whatever.
I thought he was here, though.
No, man, he left.
Jordan Scott never played here. They have to have a 6'7" kid on this team. I've watched him in the spring. They threw jump balls to him.
Yeah, he left. He left, dog. He left after the spring.
Right. Well, yeah, that's my point.
Okay, I'm sorry.
He was here, though.
Okay,
sorry, I didn't articulate that well.
My bad.
You brought him in, and he's not even here anymore. Like, what?
Well, that wasn't Gus. That wasn't Gus, but I get
no. I know. My point is that goes back to this roster, and it goes back to what Tommy Castellanos has some limitations. Clearly, he was not brought here to be in an offense that throws it 43 times. When he's throwing 43 times, you're going to lose that game. I don't understand why he throws it from his hip half the time. He's late a lot of times. I don't think he's being coached very well, but he was not supposed to be remember, he threw the ball 14 times against Alabama, right? 15, something like that, like 9 out of 14. That's the perfect scenario there. Not 43 times. But you gave the running backs the ball 5 times in the first half. Why? Like, and I don't think they love their running backs because they haven't recruited well at running back. Sawchuk, Roydell Williams, Jalen Lucas, who I don't know what position you caught. They're all transfers. Samuel Singleton looks like a nice player. It took you 3 years to find him. Cam Davis, I can't get on the field. I know he's been banged up. He would not be on the field even if he wasn't. And then it's same thing with wide receivers, same thing with offensive line, and on and on and on.
By the way, real quick, they're 4-0 when he attempts 20 or less passes.
Right, man. Now, some of that is because they get behind, so he has to throw more, and some of that's when they get a nice early lead, and he doesn't have to. But yes, man, he is not. Well, again, that goes not an efficient passer.
That goes back to teams like Pitt and Stanford taking advantage of that first drive, getting a touchdown, taking a huge time off the clock, and if you don't score on your first drive, it's like, oh man, it's the second quarter, and like we might get the ball back.
Well,
one
in
more
the
time
Pitt, I don't even. The Pitt win doesn't bother me all that much because again, I thought that offense was fine. They had 21 points at the half, and then Deuce got hurt, and then they don't have any receivers. All of a sudden, they just can't throw the ball. This OC is not a pass-friendly offensive coordinator. He is not and this quarterback is not a quarterback that operates in a pass-friendly offense very well. It's a good marriage when you're running the ball. But, yeah, they get behind. They don't feel like they could run the ball. I don't think they thought they could run the ball in Clemson anyway, so they didn't even try it. But they could not exploit what was exploitable, which was the middle of the field with horrible safety play, which was Clemson's MO. The Duke kid just torched him repeatedly in the middle of the field because he's a quarterback, like a throwing quarterback that runs a throwing offense. This isn't that, and it was a bad matchup, and clearly, and they just didn't feel like they could run it. The strength of this team should be able to run the ball. They didn't even really try it much at all. I think their best run was that run that got called back because of the illegal hands to the face. So anyway, all that comes to say is like what you did the last 3 years on the recruiting trail is why you're in this position, and it's what doesn't give me any hope about moving forward because I just don't trust the current person in charge to give you enough good players to be a consistently good football team. You can put some stuff together. Like I said last week, even mediocre pitchers have once every 12 starts might have a 7-inning, 2-run, 4-hit game in them. They might be really good, but they're not going to do it every. They're not going to do it every start because water finds its level. And the talent on this team isn't good enough. It's good. It's better than 4-5. I want to clear that up. I think this is a 6-3 type football team, maybe even 7-2 that's gotten a bit unlucky. Fine, but your goals are bigger than that anyway. Like you want to get to a place where if you have bad breaks and you don't have and you have some things go against you and you lose all your close games, you finish 8-4, not 4-8. Like that's what you want the bar to be. That's what you want the floor to be. Is man, we had some bad calls, we had some injury luck that went bad, we had bad turnover luck, we couldn't pick up a fumble, that ref screwed us. We finished 8-4. Now you can't even get to 8-4 in this sorry conference for the second year in a row. And for the 4th year out of 6 in his tenure, you haven't been able to sniff 8 wins, which to me should be the minimum. In the minimum because of the talent you should be bringing into this program. And that's where I'm like, it's just, what's the point anymore? It would be awesome if they got to 7 wins. And I'm not joking here. Aslan, I'm being honest with you. Ugh. I would love for it to, I would love for them to tell Norvell the Florida game is his last game. And unlike Jimbo, he would get to coach it. And they could go to Florida and win the game and carry him up on the shoulders, let him go plant the flag in the middle of Florida's field. And that could be the end of his tenure at Florida State. That would be about that's best case scenario, right? At this point, I like the guy enough. I think he likes this program enough that I think that would be a cool moment for him. But I don't know.
Yeah, man.
Cool. I don't see a scenario where this is the best for your program anymore. You can do better than this. And I know it's going to cost you a lot of money. I don't dismiss that or diminish it. It's going to cost you a lot of money. Being bad at football costs you a ton of money in the long run. And so, to make money, you got to spend money, right, Aslan?
That's what I've heard.
You got to go get somebody. You got to go get this roster upgraded to the point where you are stunned if you go 9-3. are 8-4. This year, we would have been stunned after the Pitt game if they would have gone 8-4, because they were so. It's just you got to flip it, man. You got to flip expectations, and you got to flip the talent level on this roster. Again, I'll write that story probably this week now that they lost. 99 kids he signed out of college, out of high school, 10 to 11 substantial starters. And by substantial, I mean like more than 3 games.
No.
That's where you are, man. You've had, and that counts again. That counts Patrick Payton. That counts somebody like, I think Edwin Joseph. Like, is he a substantial starter? Shaheem Brown. Like, 5 of them are safeties. No guys on the line of scrimmage except Patrick Payton and Robert Scott.
Josh Farmer, right?
Yeah, Joshua Farmer. So out of 5 recruiting classes before this one, because again, the Desirs are the truth, man. That's good signings there.
Man, Mandrell's really good.
Yeah, they're good, man. They're good. The first 5 classes, he signed 3 guys that have contributed in any real way, shape, or form to the line of scrimmage on this football team. 3. But can't win like that. Can't win like that, and you don't get a chance. In my opinion, you don't get a chance to do year 7. But I'm not writing the checks, and I'm not giving out pink slips. And they might bring him back, they might not. This program will not be like this forever. It is better than it was last year. Kudos to that. But they gave him a lot of money and a lot of coordinators and some resources and a new quarterback, and the end result is you're going to probably finish with 1 or 2 more conference wins than you did last season, which was the worst season in school history. So, what are you going to do?
But hey,
it's not. Is it depressing or is it just maddening? Like, I sound depressed, but I'm really just frustrated and mad.
I literally had that written down on my piece of paper to ask you, because I don't know if it's the microphone you're using right now, but like, there is a sense of frustration and like resignation almost in your voice. I don't know if it's because there is no easy answer. Is it because, it involves money? Like, we all know if the money wasn't involved, you would have moved on from this by now. But it's like, we all can kind of empathize and put ourselves in a position where it's like, we know there's things in our lives we want better and we want it fixed, but we don't have the money to afford to do it. And Florida State's kind of in that position. Like, how much of all this is, again, like, they look better. They had every opportunity to win the game against Clemson. They had every opportunity to win a game against Pitt. They had every opportunity to win a game against Stanford. It's like they just find ways to not capitalize. I mean, how all that has to factor into, I guess, a little bit of, where you're at right now, where most everybody listening to this podcast is.
It reminds me of like the 2006 Florida State team. Like that team, if you go back and look at the 2006 team, like even the Florida game, didn't Florida win the national championship that year? And they beat Florida State like 21-14. And Michael Ray Garvin has a kickoff return to tie up the game, and he steps out of bounds. You lost to Clemson on something called simultaneous possession. I think that's what they said, where Florida State, much like what happened Saturday night, where Tommy said he had the ball after that fumble. It was laying on his back with the ball for 3 or 4 seconds, and they ripped it out, and they gave it to Clemson. That's what he was arguing. For you guys that don't remember, in 2006, Florida State, I think, was down by like 4 points or 2 points or something late in the game, had played poorly because that's what they did. The offense was a wreck, but they sacked their quarterback, who I think his name was Proctor. I don't know why I remember that. They sacked Clemson's quarterback, and this was before Dabo. Clemson was not good. Florida State comes out of the pile with the ball, holds it up to the ref, tosses it to the ref. The whole crowd goes crazy. The sideline goes crazy. The referee announces that it was simultaneous possession and the offense gets to keep the ball, which I've never seen before or since. I've never even heard that over a loudspeaker before or since. Simultaneous possession, but like tie to the runner. Tie goes to the runner. He's safe. It was simultaneous possession, so the offense keeps the ball. Florida State ends up losing that game. That was one of many maddening losses that year, where if you look at it closely, you convince yourself, golly, man, they're really close to winning 9 or 10 games, right? Mm-hmm. Really close. They're not far off. They're not far off, but they were far off, weren't they, Aslan? I know the Wake game happened, but before the Wake game, those losses were all kind of justifiable. They were really close, a play here or there. It's like, well, what's the standard where your games against the likes of Pitt, who's ranked, by the way,
Going to be
Virginia,
the host of
Stanford.
Game Day coming to Pittsburgh this week.
I know.
buddy.
How about that? Pitt gets game day, but Florida State, Miami, no chance. Okay. Anyway, with Corso, by the way, being in the crowd, whatever. That's what's frustrating, Aslan, is that we didn't even get game day. Didn't even get to boo Kirk. That you see that same stuff here where it's like, man, you talk yourself into it. Like, man, they really, and I am. They're close. They're close. But
back to your earlier point, but none of this is coming back, though. I'm not even saying Norvell, but you don't know about your coordinator, you don't know about your quarterback.
I don't even mean that. I mean, like, what you've made mistakes along the way to where you're having to maybe win a Stanford game on a wing and a prayer and a miracle. And yeah, it was one play where it looked like he got in, but what in the world is it coming down to one play for against Stanford? Why are you down 28-3 to Miami? Have y'all watched Miami lately? Even that game they played on Saturday, they were struggling for a half.
Yeah,
they were losing to Stanford 7-0 late in the second quarter, and they've lost other two. This ain't a great Miami team, and you're down 28-3. Clemson hasn't been up 18 points on anyone since Deshaun was there, and you're down 18-0 to them. That's obviously hyperbole. They were beat Boston College this year, 41-10. But at home, they don't do that at home, except to Florida State. And yeah, you fight back, you don't give up. Those are all qualities that I do admire. But at the end of the day, it's enough of this. In my opinion, it's enough of this. It's enough of trying to squint and try to see the good things and convince yourself. And I am convinced that they're a better team. I really am.
They are.
But if the record is the record, who cares?
But it's 2-10.
If the record is the record, who cares? Yeah. Yeah. But I'm saying, like, I literally think they're one of the top 25, 30 teams in the country. I do. But they don't. Their record doesn't display that. So who cares? Who cares? And this is the result. And so also, they don't ever play well, man. They don't play. They played two good games out of 9. 7. Sorry, they've had 7 real games this year. I would say they played well in 2 of them. That's not a great percentage. Win or lose, right?
Yeah.
If you play well, you feel okay about yourself. Like the Florida State basketball team. Who should we talk? We should talk about a little bit about here before we wrap it up. They might play well in Gainesville on Tuesday night and still lose by 12 points or 15 points. You know, you can play well and lose. This team never plays well. They don't. They haven't played well on the road they played Winston-Salem 2 years ago. Last time they played well on the road. One of the few times they played well on the road since this guy's been here. They just don't play well. They don't have good games. And it's compounded because you don't have such a loaded roster. Bowden's teams they didn't always play an A-plus game. Neither did Jimbo's teams. You're probably looking for like 4 or 5 games a year where you play really well. And the other ones you try to survive with a B- or a B+. This team never gets to an A.
Kind of like Indiana, right?
Yeah, man. Right. And it's also Indiana just goes
game. They went and took that game. Like that last drive.
And
Penn State played solid, sound defense. Just Indiana was not going to be denied. I know that sounds so cliche and lazy, but like Indiana made huge play after play on that last. They got sacked, I think, either on the first or second play of that final possession, but still found a way to complete like a 22-yard pass and get a first down. Like I'm not asking to be that level of special. This is a team that might be able to win the national title. But, yeah, just one of these games on the road, man, rise up, and people are yelling and maybe saying, well, they did against Stanford. Like Sperry makes, these throw down to Danzy.
Come on, he just throws it up. Yeah, he throws it up to the 10. I mean, that was a Hail Mary. Danzy went and made a play, that's right. But unlike it's not in the end zone, is it?
No, but it was also a heads-up play. It was a heads-up play to get the ball. I mean, that was a horrible snap. He throws the ball in the end zone, gets the PI on Deuce.
Hey, shout out to Luke Pettibone, by the way. I don't think it's a horrible snap. He has to snap the ball because they know the clock is going to run as soon as the referee blows his whistle. This was not like, you know what I mean? Like the clock is running.
You're right.
So he had to snap it as soon as he heard the whistle. It's Sperry's fault for not being ready. Yeah. But Sperry was also playing that game for some reason. I shouldn't say for some reason.
Castellanos got concussed.
No, but why is the true freshman your best option in that moment, Aslan?
Yeah, when you got a guy that's
because
been here
the
for
other
3
guy
years,
you don't think can play.
4 years.
Yeah, can't play. You don't think he can play. Which again, it's all comes back to the talent on this roster, and I don't know why we would think it would get so much better that it would. So anyway, I guess what I would want to say, because I think he's going to be here. I think they're going to beat Virginia Tech, and it'd be weird to fire him after that. I think there's a chance he could be fired the week of Thanksgiving, or there's a chance he could be back. I mean, all that is on the table. That would be a hard sell, but what are you going to not be a Florida State fan if Norvell comes back? They'll take their chances. You know what I mean?
What are you guys going to do, huh? Just going to get a new team?
Yeah, do something. Hey, do something, man. All this talk, do something. Go. Here's some Gator gear for you. Yeah, man. You're still going to be a Florida State fan. They might be willing to. Be willing to anger you for another year, because there is a chance maybe they'll be better next year. All these bounces will start going their way. That'd be a nice change of pace. But the reality is, I just look at the state of college football, and I think that's why I'm perturbed, but I'm not depressed. I mean, I'm depressed that this is our life right now, but I'm not depressed as in Florida State. It's done. It's over. The program's finished. Yeah. Come on, man. Come on, man. Like, it is not. I promise you guys. It could change really quickly. You get the right person in here, or you get the right roster in here, and everybody will be having a lot of fun next year. Now, you're not going to win them all, because nobody does except in Columbus. But it could be a fun season again next year. And 3 years from now, it might be a really fun season in the Big Ten or the SEC. All of that is on the table. It's all still out there. It's just a frustrating stretch, man. You lose 5 of 6 games, and I would say 4 of them you're as good as the team you're playing. I think Miami's the only team that I think, because of what they did on the line of scrimmage, they're just better than you. I watched that Clemson game. I don't think they're better than you. I don't think their world's better than you. They've got more talent than you, but it's as Gus said, that a great quote, by the way. Gus, when he was talking about what you can't do on the road, he's like, you can't drop passes and have penalties and expect to go beat a good team on the road, or should I say a talented team. He corrected himself, because Clemson is not a good team, and he wanted us all to realize that he knew he made a mistake and called Clemson good when they're not, but they are talented. But yeah, man, that's a beatable team, clearly. Duke beat them. Duke then lost to UConn. And if you guys didn't watch the Warchant Wrap, and if you didn't read my column, first off, shame on you.
Absolutely.
But I was actually wrong, Aslan. Jim Mora in the last 2 years has more ACC wins than Mike Norvell, because he beat North Carolina in the bowl game last year. So to keep that in mind, since the last 2 years, Jim Mora coaches the UConn Huskies, Jim Mora Jr. They're not in the ACC. They're not in a conference at all. Jim Mora Jr., who coaches UConn, has more wins over ACC teams than Mike Norvell does in the last 2 years. Anyway, man, he's a good dude.
Oh, no. Stop it. Let's take a breather on the show, and also maybe making our picks over at Underdog Fantasy. We might need to let whoever won our over-under contest give us their picks. I said one thing, but actually did the other. My offering to our friends, Corey, was to do lower on Fernando Mendoza passing yards, 244.5. He threw 218. I said go lower on Julian Sayin, 274.5. I just felt like Purdue, sleepy noon game. Barry Odom, pretty good defensive coach, but I actually hit higher on my sheet. He did go higher, 303, but I'm not giving myself credit for that. Diego Pavia, I said lower, 210 passing yards. I thought DJ Durkin wanted the Auburn job. I thought his defense might show up for him. They did not. Yeah, they surrendered 45 points. Pavia threw for over 250 yards. Corey, do you want to know how you did?
Sure. I don't even remember what they were.
All right, here we go. Higher, Mekhi Danzy, 52.5 receiving yards.
Yikes. I said higher on that?
Yeah.
I legit thought they'd throw it to him once downfield.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was going to be a heave into double coverage. That's on me.
Deuce touchdowns, 0.5 higher.
Man, he was really close, Aslan.
Was.
The play before the McCoy one, it looks like he's catching that in the end zone, and the guy kind of ripped it out there at the end. He almost caught it.
Antonio Williams, 72.5 receiving yards, higher. He finished with 62.
I nailed that one, right?
No, he finished with 62.
He only had 62? I thought he had 162. I thought he had all the receiving yards. No. He did get the touchdown, though. Sorry, Edwin.
Cade Klubnik, touchdown passes 1.5 higher. He only had one.
He only had one. So did I go over?
Tommy
Castellanos. You just play the opposite of what I say.
Tommy Castellanos, half touchdown rushing, higher. Went 0 for 5, buddy. It's all right.
Yeah,
it's all right.
Awesome.
We're gonna fight.
I thought it was gonna be more of a shootout. I'll be honest with you. I thought it was gonna be more of a shootout. I didn't know I was watching two of the best defenses in the country go at it.
Download the app today. Sign with promo code WARCHANT to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code WARCHANT. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. And if you listened to us last week, you're not one of them, but there's always another week. Yeah. Will you be next?
Well, unless you go opposite of what we say or what I say.
Underdog, make picks, win money. Underdog Fantasy Sports must be 18 or older, 19 or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, 21 and older in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. We're back. It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. warchantbogo, your promo code over at vitaminenergy.com. Hoops, Corey. Noles, 2-0 on the year and already trailblazing and breaking records, like long-standing records.
Yeah. So the first game, Robert McCray, who's the point guard, set the all-time assist record for one game with 17. He's more of a scoring guard. At least he was at Jacksonville. But yeah, he had 17 assists, which broke a record that had stood for Otto Petty's record that I think he set in 71 or 72. So only 53 years. And it's for assists in a game by a single player, the 17 Petty had. Petty was like number 1, number 2, number 4, number 5 on that list, by the way. It must have been a great passer back in the day, throwing it up to Ron King. McCray breaks that record in game 1. And then in game 2, Florida State sets the all-time ACC record for most three-pointers attempted in a game with 47. The previous mark was 42 by Wake Forest in 1998. Jeez. So Luke's been here for 2 games, and they've broken a 54-year-old record and a 27-year-old record, or 28-year-old record, 27-and-a-half-year-old record. That's cool enough, right? That's pretty cool. Now it gets real, though, because they got to go play Florida on Tuesday. And I was thinking about Luke a little bit in regards to the football team, because I was at a practice where he was talking to his team. He's like, look, guys, we're starting this season with 5 wins. There are just 5 games that we are going to win either because the team we're playing isn't any good or we just are shooting lights out and they have no chance. We're unconscious. No matter what they do, we're hitting our shots because we can shoot it. And they don't really have a chance. We're going to win those games no matter what we do the other things well. We're going to just win when we show up or when we start hitting these threes. He goes, there's also going to be probably 4 or 5 games where we don't have a chance because it's basketball. And you get bad breaks, you get foul trouble, the other team can't miss. You have the flu go, whatever their case may be. There's 5 games that you're going to win no matter what. There's 5 games you're probably going to lose. And then there's the 20 in the middle where it comes down to execution and doing the finer points and the details to go win games. And he's like, that comes to deflections, getting steals, getting defensive rebounds and offensive rebounds, and playing situations well. Free throws, making your free throws down the stretch. That's how you win and lose games is free throws. And so he's always harping on that. And they're always doing free throw contests. Now, I'm not sitting here telling you because Luke Loucks beat Alcorn State and Alabama State that you got the next Coach K on your hands. He hasn't accomplished anything. And he's not saying anything that's revolutionary. But when you compare that to what the football team, and again, Luke Loucks has not done anything close to the equivalent of what Mike Norvell has done in his sport. Let's just get that straight. Mike Norvell's won 2 conference championships, took a team to an Orange Bowl and another team to a Cotton Bowl. Like, I know nobody likes him now, but Mike Norvell is an accomplished football coach, much more accomplished than Luke Loucks is.
Yeah, Kings made it to the playoffs a few years.
I know, but I thought that was more to do with De'Aaron Fox. But anyway, I think when it comes to just this football team, it's like, man, it's the situations, man. I don't know. I'm not saying they don't coach situations well. I don't know if they stress them, though. Like, why is Daniel Lyons jumping off sides at Stanford? Why is Edwin Joseph jumping off sides on that 4th and 4? Why is LaWayne McCoy blocking someone downfield and then getting a personal foul in the very next play? 25 yards all by yourself, LaWayne. We're in the middle of a football game, man. You just went a quarter of the field backwards. Come on, he's a good player, and he caught the touchdown. He's actually proven to be a top-tier receiver, as Norvell called him. But there's so many plays like that. Tommy taking sacks and getting tripped up, and the intentional grounding is just dreadful. You can't do that stuff, man. Or even Luke Pettibone, who I like a lot, who's had a good season, as he doesn't snap the ball when somebody's offsides. So I think that led to the intentional grounding because Tommy got the ball too quick, didn't have anybody to throw to, and was tripped up. It's all those situational things that that's why they're losing these games. And back to basketball, though, they're not going to go undefeated. They're probably not going to beat Florida. And I don't even know if they're a tournament team. But after what we've watched for the last 4 or 5 years, and really for 20 years, if you want to be honest about it, Leonard had some fun teams and some really, really good teams, but there were times where it was like a root canal, and it didn't seem like modern basketball. Well, we have been modernized like in light speed to the point where they're breaking records they broke 2 records, 2 big, long-standing records in back-to-back games. 47 threes in a 40-minute game is crazy. It's a breath of fresh air, but I'm saying that when they're 2-0. Let's see if they're 5-11 if I'm saying that. I mean, the schedule's about to get real. Like Florida, I think they played 3 of the Final 4 teams from last year. So it's probably going to be some L's coming, but they're fun to watch. I like the way they play. I don't know if they're going to be good enough defensively to make a real run at anything in his first year. But they are going to be fun to watch, and I hope people go and watch them play because it's unlike anything that's been played in that building before.
Conspiracy time. Grab your tinfoil, Corey. Let's go.
Okay.
According to the Baton Rouge Advocate, last night on Sunday, they reported that Brian Kelly's digging his heels in. He's seeking his full buyout of $54 million American dollars.
That's a stunner.
Yeah.
He doesn't just want to forfeit $30 million for no reason?
Well, here's the thing. He was given an offer of $30 million in 2 installments, and they were going to wipe away any salary mitigation or offset. So if you wanted to go somewhere else, that school didn't have to worry about the buyout being more than what it was going to be. I bring this up, and I said that awkwardly. Maybe you can clarify.
I bet I know why you're bringing it up. I have a pretty good feeling on why you're doing that. But go ahead.
Well, it's I don't know how quick the wheels of justice work in Baton Rouge, but when you do a civil case, it's going to take a long while. But he does say in a letter, "I am open to your desire to reach a settlement of what's owed to me under the contract. Although, of course, it would have to make sense financially," his emailed letter read. So the way Mike Norvell's contract, I think, works out, again, I don't have his 2024 extension, but I've read and seen the 2019 contract when he took the job from Memphis. And he is owed 85% of the balance of his contract that's remaining. So, I mean, whatever, it's $60 million, they'd owe him 85% of it. But the money is due over the remaining term of that contract. So it goes to 2030, 2031 Mike's contract goes to. So you could...
I feel like it. So 6 years.
Yeah, so you'd pay that off over 6 years.
It'd be like $8 million a year, yeah.
Yeah, Or...
Hey, man. Okay, go ahead.
Or
you tell him, see you in court. You're not getting a dime out of us.
Yeah, get Doug Llewellyn. We'll see you in people's court. But, yeah, I mean, listen, and again, nice guy, but he's also a family man.
R.I.P. Doug Llewellyn, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, why not offer him, let's see what happens in Baton Rouge. Maybe that affects the way Florida State can play their terms, and maybe that's why they don't want to pull a trigger yet. Because, what if you could be like, all right, we'll give you 40. We'll give you 2 installments of $20 million, and we'll do it over 2 years, or you can get $50 million over the next 6. And then
I would lower that. So it's like the lottery, right? You can take one lump sum, or you can
pretty much.
Yeah, I would lower it. If I'm offering that, I'm not giving them $20 million a year. I'm get $20 million for 2 years. That's a lot. That's too much. I would be like, I'll give you $12 million for 2 years, each.
Well, I'm
So
saying,
you get a $12 million check right now, and you get another $12 million next year. Otherwise, you're only saving $10 million, but $20 million is a lot. But
I'm just saying,
either here or there.
$54 million. LSU's on the hook for $54 million. They offered 30. So maybe that's the beginning. That's the floor. Right now, maybe we go back and forth and we find something in the middle there.
I would think the difference, and sorry, Mike, that we're talking about your buyout like you're not the head coach anymore. We know you are, buddy. Go get you some dubs.
You're going to get that money either way. If you're here, you're not here. So it's fine. We can talk about it. We're not being rude.
I would. The difference between him and Brian Kelly is I think Brian Kelly feels like he should still be the coach. It feels like he was treated unfairly. He's 34-14 there. He went 10 games, 10 guys. He won 10, 10, and 9 in his previous 3 years. Mike Norvell's what did I say? 4-16 in his last 20 against real teams. Like,
why do
I
we
would
pick
hope
these
Norvell
weird
would
numbers? Sorry for interrupting you so much today, Corey, but like, why do we pick? I can't keep up with all this stuff. Like, in his last 28, like, why are we like his last 22? Sometimes it's his last 20 ACC games or his last 22 games overall.
No, he's 6-15 in his last 21 games. Well, no, 6-16. Let's count the Georgia game. I don't like doing that. That's why I don't. But he's 6-16 in his official last 22 games. He's 6-16.
Well, let's just do the.
But
okay.
3 of those wins are Charleston Southern, Kent State, East Texas A&M. So what is he really? I say he's 3-16 in his last 19 games. That's me. That's me. Because I could have coached him to a win over Charleston Southern, and I could have boat raced East Texas A&M and Kent State. I promise you. I promise you. They'd had no chance. We'd have scored 100. We'd have tried to make history. So he gets no credit for those. So in my opinion, he's legitimately 3 and I don't count the Georgia one, so let me be fair there. He's 3-15 in his last 18 games. His 18 games that were like against real competition, 3-15. The point I'm saying in that is you could see a scenario, and I'm not saying like, hey, Mike, be a good guy, give Florida State some of their money back. Like, that Florida State was dumb enough to give him this contract. We all understand why they did it, but this is how contracts work, man. You don't get to say, well, you didn't perform, so I want my money back. Like, that's not how it works. It sure would be nice if my man cut Florida State a break. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, you're 3-15, dog. You're not 34-14. You're 3-15. Like, and this program is a proud program, and you don't want to anchor them and be an albatross to this program for the next 2 or 3 years while they're having to pay you to not coach. So give them a break. Tell them $30 million over the course of the contract. Give Florida State some 20, and then they'll build a statue of you, man. You can come back for the 23 reunion. What if Florida State promised him a statue? If they promised him a statue and they would name the football facility after him. If he just said, I don't need a buyout. I'm done. I don't need a buyout. Give me next year's salary, and then we'll call it even. We're all good. But put my name on that facility in perpetuity.
What if it was like a statue in the likeness of Tom Cruise from Mission Impossible, but with Norvell's head on it, and it was just kind of dangling from the top of Doak, like it was climbing, like it was just hanging on to the top of the stadium.
Oh, I thought you meant like hovering coming down and hovering like he did in the first Mission Impossible, where he's on that wire during the heist or whatever he was doing.
Climbing, or maybe like Cliffhanger with Sly. Maybe we do Sly Stallone. He's like Cliffhanger, and he's hanging on. He's hanging on to our stadium, just hanging on right there. There he is. Like what's that all about?
I mean, there's a lot of things you could do. There's scenes from Pulp Fiction. Whatever, man. Whatever. It's fine. But make a statue. I'd have statues all over campus. If he would get rid of the buyout, tell him it'd be the Florida State Norvells for 2 years. They will officially change their name to the Norvells.
We're going
off 2 years.
We're going off the rails here, but I don't know. I think you legitimately could. I know I get it, man. Like $20 million in 1 year is a lot of money. I don't know. Maybe that's less palatable than paying him $8-9 million for the next 6 years or whatever. But yeah, I mean, you're ultimately saving yourself $14 million. Like you're giving him $40 million as opposed to the 56.
Yeah, but it's an annual thing. It's a budget thing, and those are annual, not every 5 years. What's your spending cost for that football cycle? You just don't have a roster. Here's the real conversation is, what are you going to go get? If Norvell's not the coach, what are you going to go get? Would you keep Tony White if you brought in an offensive-minded coach and let Tony White go get his own guys? I think Tony White knows what he's doing. I just do. I know they're not great. I know they just live like it's their job to give up 15-play drives occasionally, but I think that's they've gotten much better in the last 2.5 weeks. They are actually a side that's improving. I say that knowing they'll probably give up 40 to Virginia Tech because that's how I work. I lauded the offense last week, and they went and scored one whole touchdown against that great Clemson defense. So I know I'm jinxing Tony White right now, but people know where I stand. I would prefer James Franklin. I'm on the Brian Hartline train now. I just want somebody that's used to being around great football players that can recruit and bring in great football players. But what are you going to go get? That needs to be.
I just think
before you do anything with Norvell, man, you got to know who you're going to get. This is not a Jimbo situation where he left you and you were scrambling. Although you shouldn't have been scrambling. The writing was on the wall for a while. You shouldn't have been scrambling to where you have to go get Taggart, but that's another story. You know this is coming, or you should know this is coming. Have somebody ready. Have somebody ready that is palatable and who you think is a significant upgrade, not a roll of the dice, but a significant upgrade of what you have. Because if you're just going to go get another roll of the dice of a group of 5 guy, keep this one. Keep this one. Keep them for another year. Save yourself some money. Run it back.
You're not saving
maybe bring in a better quarterback.
You're still going to pay his salary next year. There's no saving money. There's no saving money.
What do
You
you
either
mean?
pay him to leave or you pay him to stay. Whatever you owe him next year, he's going to get the money regardless.
Again, I'm doing the math, though, man. I got to do it for you again because I did it last week. You go hire Alex Golesh from USF. You have to pay his whole staff, too. So that's what I'm talking about. It's not just the money you'll owe your staff next year, which is in the neighborhood of just that 1 year. Norvell's 10, Malzahn and Tony White that's $14 million. Everybody else combined, it's probably $26, $27 million, $25 million, let's say, for that coaching staff. You also have to go pay that new coaching staff. So you're paying 2 coaching staffs, only one of them is coaching. And I don't know that new coaching staff is any better than the one you just fired. That's what I'm saying. So you're saving yourself in the neighborhood of 20, 25 million, let's say 20. You're saving yourself $20 million for a similar product, in my opinion, if you go and get an unproven group of 5 guy. So save yourself the $20 million and then do it after next year if he's bad again next year. If you're going to go that route. You can't go that route. You've got to go get me someone from a Power 2 school. Somebody that's had success at the P2 level. A head coach, fine. Franklin fits that bill. The great Jimbo Fisher fits that bill. Brian Kelly fits that bill. Or go get me a coordinator. Otherwise, you're going to go get me John Summerall, and I got to go spend $50 million on these 2 coaching staffs for John Summerall to take over for Mike Norvell. Okay, I guess.
What if he's the next Dan Lanning, John Summerall?
Yeah, well.
You don't want to be the player. You don't want to be the
Dan
proving
Lanning
ground.
coached at Georgia. But Dan Lanning was at Georgia before he went to Oregon.
Well, John Summerall was at Ole Miss. They did pretty solid there. He was one of Lane's first hires. Was around the defense.
Oh, was he?
There. Yeah.
But he was a defensive guy, right? Like he wasn't.
That was
Ole Miss
incorrect.
was winning because of the offense.
He was there before Lane got there, but he was at Kentucky.
Yeah.
And they had a little good spurt there.
By the way, shout out to Kentucky. There you go, Mark Stoops. Yeah. Big dub. Put him back on the board. In fact, Jim Mora Jr., all he does is win ACC games. So if you really want to be cool, just go get him. Go get him.
I'm with you,
He's
though.
won more ACC games than your guy.
I'm with you. Obviously, go get the proven Power 2 guy. Get I don't even know, like Glenn. Yeah, Glenn.
And
Schumann.
I'm not proven, right? Like Schumann at Georgia.
Brian Hartline,
the guy,
like you said. Like I'm with those, but
Will Stein. They're not proven.
Yes.
They're not proven, but they're just options that to me are palatable.
If it's a profile,
because there's something different.
If
yes,
it's a profile, that's
yeah.
worked at a lot of different places. Yeah, that's why I believe. Yeah. I mean, even Golesh, I think I could convince myself to be excited about Alex Golesh. I'd be cool with John Summerall, but I mean, maybe I'm in a different place than a lot of people.
The one difference between Golesh and Norvell to me is that he has done it in the state of Florida. He's doing it currently in the state of Florida, so he has ties to this state, which you would think would help in recruiting.
But according to your guy from UTSA, though, apparently USF's like overpaying everybody. Like USF's the big spender in Group of 5.
Yeah, they're the big spender. He's not. Yeah. Imagine what he could do with Florida State's budget. He's doing this well with
Yeah, but it's all relative.
USF. And he has put together a good defense and a pretty good team. His quarterback would probably come with him too. I don't know if he'd want that, but his quarterback's pretty good. Maybe he'd come with him too. But yeah, man,
I've yet to see a name that makes me cringe. I've yet to see a name for Florida State that, like, people that I trust and I think watch enough football or like, what about this guy? What about that guy? I've yet to really see a name that I'm like, ew, gross, absolutely not. I'm like, yeah, all right, sure, I'm ready.
You're right. And you wouldn't, right? You're at Florida State. You shouldn't see a name that is gross. Yeah. Jeff Braun, by the way, became cheaper with that loss to Cal at home. Tony Elliott, if you want to go that route, he became cheaper with that loss to Wake at home. By the way, Wake goes and beats Virginia, right?
ACC, dog.
Looks like a high school team against Florida State, and then goes and beats the team that Florida State couldn't beat. That's just perfect.
Their offense was still pretty abysmal, it looked like.
It was, yes. I think Florida State will those names will be good. They'll be appealing. I just, again, you've done the Taggart and you've done Norvell. When you look at what Ryan Day was, Kirby Smart, Dan Lanning, they all kind of cut their teeth as coordinators at the Power 2 level. It was Power 5 back then, but if you're not going to get Franklin, which would be my first choice, and that might be he might be horrible here. I'm not saying that's a sure thing, but that would make me be willing to spend $25 million to tell this staff to go have a nice day. The prospect of James Franklin, Saquon Barkley calling recruits for you, Micah Parsons calling recruits for you, Tyler Warren, who just all he does is catch passes against the Falcons, calling recruits for you. That's his guy. Those are his guys, man. Yeah. Who's calling people for Norvell? Azaria Thomas and Joshua Farmer and Ryan Fitzgerald.
Jared Verse,
I'm talking about his high school.
Fisk,
his high school guys. His high school guys, man. That's what I'm talking about. It's like it's got 2 guys, 2 draft picks. So yeah, and that's obviously that'll be a conversation as we keep going. It just watching the Clemson thing, and as I said on the Warchant wrap, I was kind of hoping if they were going to fire him, they'd have done it on Sunday, just because of the indignity of you lost to Dabo. Well, now we got to fire you. I thought that would have been a nice little shot at Clemson and Dabo. You know what I mean? Like, man, Clemson's so bad that if you lose to them, you lose your job. I thought that would have been fun. Especially if it's probably going to happen anyway, but I don't know if it will. And they might legitimately look good the next 3 weeks, win 3 games, finish with 8-5 record, and see what happens next year. It's all on the table. It's also almost basketball season, gang.
It is. We didn't even talk
about
whether
this, though, Aslan?
Yep.
Go ahead.
I was going to say we can talk about, we'll do the mailbag tomorrow. I'm sure we need something to talk about later in the week, but it's like that low-hanging fruit. Should they make a change at quarterback? I don't want to dive into it right now. It's 70 minutes of showtime. But what were you about to say?
Too long a show.
Yeah.
It's too long a show. But I just want to stress to people, you need to be on Warchant, man. Yes. You need to get a membership because all Aslan and I do is speculate. There's some facts, obviously, but the Nuggets, there will probably be, not officially, we don't know for sure, but there will probably be a coaching search coming up here soon. There's going to be hot board. There's going to be Nuggets. And by God, there's also a recruiting National Signing Day coming up in the portal after that. This season hasn't been all that fun. It's not been horrible. I mean, it has been horrible. Who am I kidding? It hasn't been embarrassingly bad and disgusting. But the offseason is fun, gang. You get free agency for a couple weeks. You get the recruiting. You get a coaching search. I mean, and why wouldn't you want to be on Warchant for all that? It's going to be a lot of breaking news, a lot of little nuggets from all the sources we have. We've been doing it the longest. Lord knows Ira has been. He's been here since before Bobby got here. Ira has been in Tallahassee. So yeah, man, you're going to be dialed in. You're going to want to be dialed in because it's going to be probably a very eventful 6-week stretch there once Thanksgiving is over.
By the way, Para Ripper Shaw, who goes by, I guess, maybe Stevie Nole on YouTube, says, Corey, Ira, great meeting you both at the interview table after the game on Saturday. Love your show. Do you remember meeting anybody when you guys...
Did he really say that?
Yeah.
He said his name is what, Steve Shaw?
Yeah, Stevie Nole, but then his handle is Para Ripper Shaw, and he's got some sort of fan contraption attached to his back. So he's like a Rocketeer.
Yeah, that's awesome that he said that because he came up to us and he goes, hey, because he was a cop, by the way. He was a cop.
Police officer.
I guess he was working security. Police officer, sorry. Is cop derogatory? Sorry, I was just shortening it.
Kidding.
Police officer, I think he was working security. He was vested up and everything.
Nice.
And he came over and said hello, he goes, I'm a big fan of you guys. And he goes, is one of y'all Aslan?
Oh, nice.
And I go, get out of here. What's the matter with you? But no, I was like, no, this is Ira. I'm Corey. He's like, oh, okay. I'm a big fan of you guys. So yes, obviously I get it because he probably watches us on YouTube or doesn't know what we look like. But yeah, that was fun. I think he thought Ira was you.
Ira looking
wishes.
good, man. Ira looking good these days, man. Take the compliment, Ira. Take the compliment if they're
I'm telling you, the whole staff. We need to have a tug of war or something. With other media outlets or something, or a 4x1 or a 4x4 or something, we're kicking ass, man.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and how about Gene? I think Gene has
ripped.
like an 8-pack now.
It's incredible.
He is absolutely ripped. He looks like I'd say Stallone and Rambo 2.
Okay, strong.
Just straight up ripped, all glistening, just abs everywhere, guys. So we need to. We'll probably have a calendar for Christmas if you guys want to order that. I'll be December.
Be on the lookout for that one. All right, we're going to do the mailbag show for you folks on Tuesday. So get involved. Go to warchant.com, submit your questions, and get the opportunity to win a gift bag from Cummins and get entered into our end-of-year grand prize drawing for a free portable generator from Cummins. I also think they're going to also include a free power station, too. So it's remarkable. Be a member of warchant.com. It's only $1 for a week, and you get that year subscription to The Athletic. Lots of good stuff going on. Jeff Cameron Show, 1 to 4 o'clock. Can't wait to listen to that. And then I think, does Ira hop on the second hour of the show or at 3 p.m. usually, Corey? You've been in the car recently.
The second hour.
Okay.
2 p.m.
Yeah, 2 p.m.
Yeah.
So that's when Ira will hop on with Jeff, too. I'm sure there'll be a lot of good stuff to talk about. So check that out. Go to warchant.com in the meantime. He's Corey. I'm Aslan. Thanks for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com, warchantbogo, your promo code.